Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be reacting to Fanny Cradock for the first time. This was recommended by a subscriber in the comments of another video, and he basically said that she was known as the rudest person on television in her time. Now, I'm not sure when her time was exactly. Obviously, this is from August of 1986, and so I'm guessing I'm guessing she isn't on TV anymore.
Right.
Anyways, guys, as soon as I saw that she was known as the rudest woman on television during her time, I thought this would be a very interesting person to learn about. I think we'll go ahead and jump over to Wikipedia to learn a little bit about her so that we can have a little context about who she is as we dive into this video. All right, Fanny Cradock. Oh, she died in 1994. Okay, yeah, so she's been gone for quite some time now. She was a English restaurant critic, a television cook, and a writer. Okay, so basically she was
very into the food scene, probably.
Yeah.
So was she like the precursor to Gordon Ramsay, like the female?
Yeah. Is that what is meant by rude? Like, because I know Gordon Ramsay, he has this temper.
Harsh, and
but that's what people love about him.
I know, I love it.
I love Gordon Ramsay for those reasons. He's just very unique. And so I'm curious, was she the Gordon Ramsay of her time? But she lived to 85. I just want to see a little bit more about her. This act was one of a drunken, henpecked husband and a domineering wife. At this time, they were known as Major and Mrs. Cradock. In 1955, she recorded a pilot for what became a very successful BBC television series on cookery. Each year, the BBC published a booklet giving a detailed account of every recipe Fanny demonstrated, allowing her to frequently say in later years, "You'll find that recipe in the booklet, so I won't show you now." Her food looked extravagant, but was generally cost-effective, and Fanny seemed to care about her audience. Her catchphrases included, "This won't break you."
Like, it's not too expensive? Is that what that means?
Yes, this is perfectly economical,
okay.
And this won't stretch your purse. She basically was known for, like, making cost-effective meals, it sounds like. She was a cost-effective TV chef.
But with an upscale look.
With an upscale look, which would probably be pretty interesting. All right, guys. I think we get the general gist. She was a chef and very well known. And it seems like maybe she had some sort of a strong personality, sort of like Gordon Ramsay. That's kind of the gist I get in my mind when I think about kind of a rude cook. But Gordon Ramsay is not exactly, I mean, I don't know. Would you call him rude?
He's just very blunt.
Very blunt,
and yeah.
I don't know, guys.
Intimidating.
Let us know in the comments if you feel that Fanny was like Gordon Ramsay in a way, you know, before he was around, obviously.
I'm sure, like me, you've missed the abrasive style of this lady. Here seen haranguing a leg of pork and a silent chef.
Now, you see, I can say with absolute certainty that what I'm going to get when I cut that, I needn't massacre the entire joint, and I'm going to use my fingers. This is the only way I can illustrate it to you. I'm going to make it absolutely certain. Oh, yes, I see. Very well. Well, tell us. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Crack it. You see? Let me show you another piece. Give you absolute confidence. Bingo. And bingo. And there it is. You can have those bits too. Now go away.
Okay, I can already see just from that little segment of why she was so popular.
Yeah.
I like television cooking. I grew up watching it with my grandma.
I really enjoyed it.
What I'm curious about, I saw she died in 1994, and he said she's been missed. So was she already off the air by 86?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you see that? I didn't.
In the Wikipedia, I don't remember the exact year, but yeah, I don't think her show was.
Okay. So I wonder what she was doing during this time. Was she doing anything?
I don't know.
Fanny, you're welcome.
I'm very glad to be here. I love it. It was the first television show we ever did was in here.
Really?
Johnny and I together. Half an hour, invited audience. And we were so scared. John was kicked in the small of the back to get us on. He said, "Go on, Jolly, you silly bee, you're on."
Yeah.
And he lurched onto television.
Yeah. We used to have invited audience. These people come in without any invitation. I don't... I haven't asked them.
Yeah, but they're special night.
Well, they are. You'll find them okay. Fanny, you brought me a little, just a little...
Now, that's
soup.
for the end of the programme, you gutsy so.
Fanny, am I expected to talk to you without eating here?
Oh, all right. We go on eating and talking together.
What have we got?
Well,
what
you
is
know
it?
what a sweet tooth you've got.
Yes, I do.
Well, I have invented a easy way of making these puff balls of soft fruits, all soft fruits in turn. And they keep in freezers for months on end. And they can be eaten hot or cold.
What is that?
And they're bad for the figure. They're outrageous for the figure. They couldn't be worse.
Luckily, I don't, I'm
No,
slim
I know
as a
you're
lamb.
so slim. It doesn't matter. Can you see over the top of your tongue still?
There's not much to see over the top of my tongue.
Now, this is raspberries out of our own garden.
Yes.
And this is something Greek called pitta paste.
Oh.
Or pitta pastry.
Look, is it difficult to make?
No, it's very, very easy.
Is it?
It isn't finished yet.
Isn't it? Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Because I've hardly had a thing since lunch.
I'm starved.
Yeah. Over the 20 years, you were the maîtresse of cuisine, weren't you?
Well, then we went
evolved that
abroad.
marvellous style of
By the way, that looks good.
teaching people how to cook. And in fact, the Queen Mother complimented you, didn't she? She
Yes, how did you know about that?
oh, I know plenty about you.
She said, no, she said, in your opinion, at the end of an interview, she said, in your opinion, has the standard of cooking improved in this country? And we both enthusiastically said, oh, enormously. And we dried because she turned with that inimitable smile of hers and said, yes, and in our opinion, you're responsible for it. And we stood there like a couple of codfish and forgot to bow and curtsy.
Tell me, do you think that cooks are born rather than made?
No. I think there's a feeling for food, a feeling for cookery, which is an impetus. I mean, what an awful lot of work. If you hear that expression, you know perfectly well you're going to have a damn bad meal and a lazy cook. You see?
Yeah.
But you can make any woman cook.
Can you?
Oh, yes.
What about a fella? I mean, it's not just women's work, surely.
No, but I'm more interested in women in cooking because it's the absolute hub of the home.
I agree with that.
And that is a woman's too. I think
that this nowadays would be considered very controversial.
You're right.
Saying that a woman's work is the hub of the home, like, you know what I mean? Like, basically, a woman's place is in the home, making sure her family is well fed, taken care of, providing a homely environment for her family. And I think nowadays that's very looked down upon to think that way.
And it shouldn't, because it's literally the most important aspect of
agree, yeah.
society.
Now, I will agree if a woman doesn't want to do that, there's no point in like trying to make her stay
No.
home, because then it's not going to be from a place of love.
But it used to be really,
A priority.
yeah. And it's not the priority anymore.
And I think I'm probably strange in that way, especially in modern times. I feel more like a 50s housewife at heart than a modern day woman.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, today it's okay to be both.
Yeah. Makes it harder
It
to
does
try
make-
and
yeah.
balance both, because you can't, go in two directions.
Yes.
But yeah.
But it really is important, and I think it's something that is missing in our Western societies, and I think in a large portion of the world they still have that to some extent.
To some extent.
And I think it really strengthens the family, in my opinion,
Yeah.
a lot.
And it's not always possible, because
No.
for whatever reason, if couples don't stay together, the mom and dad aren't together, obviously,
Yeah.
a mom's got to work. But
Right.
I do love having a nuclear family unit, and
Yeah.
I think it's very important as long as it's possible.
Yeah. As long as possible, I do think it's very important too.
if you can't cook, you're a rotten wife.
So do I.
But just to be on the safe side for when I was ill or in bed, with anything else. I taught John to cook so that he could look after me.
Now, you used to prepare quite elaborate dishes in your time. I mean, women don't
Listen,
have time now.
have enough of this in your time. I'm not dead yet. There's plenty of life in me. And I'm coming back to cook some more on television, so there.
Yeah, but I mean, women don't have time these days for elaborate dishes, do they?
And if this is one of your devious little workarounds to convenience food, I'll tell you straight out that there is only one convenience in convenience food, and that's for the profit for the manufacturers. It's a load of muck.
I mean,
Wow.
it's true. I think we make a lot of excuses nowadays, myself included, as to why it's easier to just buy something that's pre-made, or, you know, it'll save time, but at what cost?
At what cost? And it is an excuse because there was a time, not really that long ago, not that many decades ago, that really wasn't much of a thing.
Now, I will say, especially now, I don't know about in 1986, but especially now, more and more women do work, like, whether outside the home or from home, on top of doing housely duties.
Yeah.
And so it definitely is harder to do like a big fancy meal.
And, and if that's going on, you can't expect the same level of home cooked meals. But I do believe that is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important that it should be a priority.
And I'll say this, like I said, we're guilty just as much as anyone of eating out or having some pre-made food sometimes. But if you go look at our meals that we make at home on our other channel, they're very simple. Like, they're not anything fancy usually, but it's still better than eating. Yeah,
but and then every once in a while, you know, something that takes a little more time and a little more effort's created. But, you know, you can create those very simple meals that are made from scratch at home. I mean, even things like bread. I mean, really, it really doesn't take that much effort that long to create bake some homemade bread.
Yeah.
You know, it's especially here in America, because the bread you'll get on the shelves at, like, you know, on average is full of all kinds of mess.
Yeah. Well, they strip the flour and with bleach, and then they fortify it with fake vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, because they take everything out.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, all that said, the reason I find it so important, more than anything, isn't necessarily for the adults, it's for the kids. The kids need that. They need that nutrition, obviously, and they also like sitting down to a home cooked meal at dinner with the family. That is something that, you know, I don't know the percentage of kids here in America that don't have that, but it was huge. I read the statistics not long ago. I mean, like, I think it was like the majority of kids these days do not sit down every night with their parents eating a home cooked meal.
That really shocks me.
Some people can't do it for different reasons.
Whether like a certain shift of work and you can't be home.
Or single parents that don't have the ability to, you know, make that happen.
But it is important.
But it is important if possible, because it's something that you go back a few decades ago and that was
like no negotiations.
That was completely normal.
At the dinner table. And,
so like it's what are kids nowadays missing when they don't have that structure every single day? They get to sit down with mom and dad. Distraction free. No technology. And they get to have a conversation around the table. Yeah. Older people will probably almost all remember that. But, you know, I think the newer generations don't see that as much, unfortunately. That's a little off topic, I guess. But, this definitely brings that to mind a little bit.
Don't you start them and have good.
I certainly will. They're my own mates, aren't you?
Well, clear off then. Go on. What about nouvelle cuisine then?
What about it?
Sorry, I mentioned it.
Yeah, I should think you did. When are we going to get off cooking and talk about my new book?
I don't know. Whatever you like.
Well, let's do it now.
Oh, she had a book.
Right. What new book?
It's called, you've led into it, bless your heart. It's called The Windsor Secret. And I wrote it 5 years ago. I couldn't publish it.
Why not?
Because it's not nice to the Duchess of Windsor, and I had to wait until she was dead. And it's the only time in my life I've ever waited for dead anybody's shoes.
Well, because you honestly don't care much about people's feelings, do you? I mean, you have spoken out freely and forcefully in the past.
Such as?
Oh my gosh, I love her. I love her.
I know you're a great chum of Barbara Cartland, but you sometimes you haven't been all that kind about.
What, to Barbara? She's one of our best friends.
Yeah.
Splendid woman. A bit overdone, but that's all right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, guys.
I want to see more from her.
I did too. Now, she is known supposedly to be rude, from what I understand. I only saw the word rude in the Wikipedia one time, but, I think I just seeing this, I get what is meant by rude.
Tells it like it is.
She's blunt.
Doesn't hold anything back.
Yeah.
And I think probably, especially in British culture, at least from what little I've learned about it, especially back then, it was probably even more jarring because I think in British society, you're expected to be a little more subdued, a little more polite to people's faces,
Right. And she just comes out, does not care at all.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we haven't seen her like
full throttle
or anything, which is all here. But she comes across here. Now, let us know in the comments what you think about her, if you grew up watching her or whatnot. But here she comes across as just straight up honest. She comes across as very funny, has a good sense of humor.
Very quick-witted.
Very, very quick-witted. And obviously looking at that, I think it was, what was it we were looking at earlier? Crispy pork or something? I don't know what that was. Looked like she was probably a good cook. Based off the Wikipedia page, it sounded like she made meals that the average person could put together if they didn't have a lot of money. And altogether, I can see why she may have been popular in her time. I'd like to watch some of her programs and stuff.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, guys, if you have any ideas of what we should check out, what clips we should check out about her, because give some funny ones or some that may show a little bit more of her rude side, if you will. But I'm surprised that I actually liked her.
Yeah.
I went into this thinking I might not, but
You know who she kind of reminds me of? Joan Rivers.
a little bit, yeah,
The British version of Joan Rivers.
a little bit. Considering like here, she had to be, I think she would have been 76 here. 77. She died at 85. She died at 94. So, I mean, considering she might have been in her late 70s here, I mean, she seems to be very
with it. Yeah.
like crazy quick-witted.
Yeah.
I came in here thinking that, she was just going to be really rude and mean, and
maybe she was.
Maybe she was.
At certain points. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in this interview, she seems very, personable. So.
I feel like maybe it's she's the type of person that it's just the personality is strong and she's just honest, and she likes to poke fun at people when she likes them. And she
Well, I think isn't that a British quality?
I thought that is a British quality, yeah.
Honestly, though, I would prefer someone who was like this versus someone who acts like they like me to my face.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
then talks about me behind my back.
Definitely.
So honesty over fakeness.
I agree. You gotta wonder though, like, we saw a little bit of her like ribbing the guy here.
Yeah.
And you gotta wonder if that's a like an act she would put on, because it became part of her character early on TV. And so she started owning it.
Played up to it
more and more, because
more than she really
people enjoyed that about her or something, like kind of like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
I keep on going back to Gordon Ramsay, and I don't know if they were, that similar.
Yeah, probably not that similar.
But he's the only one I can think of, the only like famous chef that is like, he's known. That's what he was known for. That's why people loved him in Hell's Kitchen. And
yeah, I'm sure in his everyday life, he doesn't treat people like that.
No, I don't think he does.
It's more for TV.
I know chefs, when they're in their element, though, they do get pretty high-headed. A lot of chefs. It's something that's known in the restaurant community.
Well, it's very high stress.
Very high stress during those short bursts of like craziness. Yeah, guys, this was interesting. Let us know in the comments what you thought about Fanny Cradock, I believe. If you grew up with her or you've seen her, shows since. Let us also know what we should check out next from her. And did you find her to be rude in a negative way, or did you find her personality to be a positive thing and enjoyed her personality? But I think that's it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything from the UK and Ireland. Until next time, guys, peace.
Bye.